In mixed martial arts, we celebrate the knockouts, the submissions, and the title wins. We watch fighters walk into the cage like they are invincible. And for a few years, some of them are. But the cage doesn't protect them from the real world. Outside those lights, outside the roar of the crowd, life hits harder than any punch. Today, we are telling the stories of 5 UFC fighters who died too young. Not all of them died in the ring. Some died in the desert, some in a hospital bed, some just went to sleep and never woke up. But every single one of them left behind fans, family, and a silence that never really goes away. This is their story.
This is the end.
Let's start with a name you might not know. Corey Hill. He was a 6 feet 4 inches tall. Think about that for a second. Most guys at 155 pounds are 5 feet 9, maybe 5'10". Corey Hill looked like a basketball player who decided to choke people instead. He got his shot on the Ultimate Fighter Season 5. That was the season with Nate Diaz, Joe Lauzon, Gray Maynard. And yes, Corey Hill fought Nate Diaz on the show. He lost that fight, but he didn't lose respect. This guy was a giant, a weird, skinny, incredibly tough giant. Then came 2080. Corey threw a leg kick against Dale Hutt. Hutt checked it, raised his shin to block. The impact snapped Corey's leg in half. The same thing happened to Anderson Silva years later. The same horror. But Corey came back. He rehabbed, he fought again, twice. He won both. For a moment, it looked like the comeback story was real. Then life happened. He got pneumonia. Not a big deal for most people, but for a fighter whose body had been through hell, it was different. His lungs collapsed, then his heart gave out. He died at 36 years old. He left behind a wife and 3 kids. Corey Hill was never a champion. Most casual fans don't remember his name, but he was a fighter, he was a father, and he deserved more time.
This is the end.
Next is Tim Hague. Here is a sentence that should not be true. Tim Hague was a kindergarten teacher. Think about it. During the day, he was helping 5-year-olds learn their ABCs. At night, he was getting punched in the face by 250-pound heavyweights. That's the kind of man he was. Gentle outside the cage, violent inside it. He fought in the UFC, didn't have a great record, 3 wins, 4 losses. But he was tough. He was always in shape, and he never backed down. In 2017, Hague decided to fight in a boxing match. Just one fight, just for some extra money. His opponent was a guy named Adam Braidwood, former CFL football player, big guy, hard puncher. This fight was in Edmonton, Canada. The first round was a disaster. Hague got knocked down 3 times. 3 separate times. The referee could have stopped it after the first knockdown. Definitely after the second. Anyone with eyes could see Hague was hot. But the fight continued. Second round, Braidwood lands a right hand. Hague falls backward, his head hit canvas hard. He starts having seizure immediately. They take him to the hospital. He never wakes up. 2 days later, his family takes him off life support. He was 34 years old. After he died, there was outrage. People called for better refereeing, for stricter medical rules. There was even talk of a new law. Some people called it Hague's law. But that law never happened. Nothing really changed, just another fight gone, another family destroyed. The worst part, Tim Hague had a daughter. She was 12 years old when her dad went to fight one more time and never came home.
This is the end.
Now we get to the name everyone knows. Kimbo Slice. If you were on the internet in the mid of 2000s, you know exactly who he is. The backyard fight, the grainy YouTube videos, a massive, bearded man knocking out random guys in someone's driveway in Miami. Millions of views, no rules, just violence. His real name was Kevin Ferguson, but the world knew him as a Kimbo. He wasn't a trained fighter, he was a street legend, a bouncer, a guy who got famous because people wanted to see a scary man punch other men. But here's the thing, Kimbo could actually fight. He made it to the UFC. He knocked out Houston Alexander in 38 seconds. He fought Matt Mitrione. He wasn't a champion, but he was a legitimate heavyweight. In 2016, he was scheduled to headline Bellator 158, the main event, against James Thompson. If that name sounds familiar, yes, it is the same James Thompson Kimbo fought in that famous backyard brawl years earlier. The one where Kimbo's bird grabbed all the headlines. It was supposed to be a rematch, a full circle moment, but Kimbo never made it to the fight. A few weeks before the event, he was rushed to the hospital. He couldn't breathe. Doctors found a mass in his liver and signs of heart failure. On June 6, 2016, Kimbo Slice died. Think about it. A man who built his name on fighting, who became famous for brawling in backyards, was taken out not by a punch, but by his own body. His manager said later, Kimbo was scheduled for one more big payday. He wanted to take care of his kids. 7 kids, that's how many Kimbo left behind.
This is the end.
Kevin Randleman, they call him the monster, and he looked like one. Broad shoulders, explosive power, wrestler's build with a sprinter speed. He was a 2-time NCAA Division I wrestling champion. That not easy. Then he moved to MMA and became the UFC heavyweight champion. He beat Randy Couture for that belt. But here's what most people remember: the slam. Fedor, the greatest heavyweight of all time, undefeated for almost a decade, a human wall. And Randleman picked him up, dropped him on his head. The most violent slam in MMA history. Fedor survived, but the moment became legendary. But here is a story that shows who Kevin really was. Prize 31, Kevin Randleman vs Quinton Rampage Jackson. Randleman lost that fight, but after that fight, Wanderlei Silva walked into the ring. Not because he was upset about the decision, but about judging, something about a belt. A dispute between him and Rampage. A heated argument started between Wanderlei and Rampage right there in the ring. People rushed in to separate them. Chows, yelling, pushing. Kevin Randleman had already left the ring. He was walking to the locker room. Then he looked back. He saw Rampage surrounded. He didn't know what was happening. He just saw his former opponent in the middle of a crowd, and it looked like someone was attacking him. Kevin didn't think. He ran back. He didn't try to break up the fight or get between them. He just ran to Rampage, ready to help him if things went bad. Rampage later talked about this moment. He said, Kevin had no reason to do that. I just beat him, but he saw me in trouble and he came running. That's the kind of man he was. In February 2016, Randleman got sick. Pneumonia. Then his heart failed. He was 34 years old. A champion, a monster, a loyal friend.
This is the end.
And finally, the strangest, saddest story of them all. Evan Tonne. Middleweight champion, incredible fighter, beat David Terrell for the belt, submitted Phil Baroni, gave Rich Franklin a real fight. But Evan was different. Most fighters want money, fame, big houses. Evan wanted something else. He was a reader, a thinker. He wrote long blog posts about philosophy and long-liners. He talked about wanting to live a meaningful life, more than a successful one. In 2080, he decided to go on a solo camping trip to the California desert on a motorcycle. He told people he wanted to find a treasure, he wanted to cleanse his spirit, and he wanted to get away from everything. Here is what he wrote on his blog 1 week before he left. I plan on going so deep into the desert that any failure of my equipment could cost me my life. That's not a joke, that's not a dramatic, that's a man who understood the risk and went anyway. His bike ran out of gas, then he ran out of water. The desert temperature hit 114 degrees Fahrenheit. Even started walking. He walked for miles, searching for help, searching for anything. Days later, searchers found his body. He was only 2 miles from his own campsite. 2 miles! If he had walked in a different direction, if he had brought more water, if anyone had known exactly where he was, so many ifs. He was 37 years old. No one hit him, no one kicked him, no one took his title. The desert killed Evan Tonne, and that's what makes his story so haunting. He survived war inside the cage, but he couldn't survive the quiet. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you sticking around. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want more stories like this, and leave a comment. Let me know which fighter surprised you the most. See you in the next one.